I'm Julia Davis, a film major who stumbled into the business world with no experience in 2006. I was able to fail enough to learn how to run a seven-figure business and have provided consulting services to over 200 individually owned companies. Through this podcast, I hope to provide some perspective on the growth and grit it takes to accomplish big goals and share some hard lessons I've had to learn along the way. Thanks so much for joining us on this episode of the Growth and Grit podcast. This week, I am joined by Alyssa Wolff, who's a homeschooling mom of 5 and business owner who's mastered the art of getting things done without the hustle. From time management to letting go of mom guilt, she's sharing productivity strategies that actually work for busy moms and busy people in general. So thanks so much, Alyssa, for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Julia.
Yes. So first of all, I just want to hear the story of how this even began, because I'm sure something must have happened in your life where you're like, this cannot continue to be this way. So can you share with us like why you even started this time management business?
Yes. Well, it goes all the way back to me at 16. I was like, I want to make this big impact on the world. And I assumed that the correct way to do that was go to college, find a major that suits you, you jump in your career, poof, you're set. Except it didn't really work out that way. So I ended up graduating from college with one of those kind of fluff majors, saying, shoot, that didn't work out. I'm not going for a master's. I guess I'll start having kids and hope that my purpose somehow shows up. Well, that was like a 13-year wait. Because in January 2020, no idea the world was about to change, I heard a podcaster talk about online business. And I was like, wait, you mean there is a way I can go make impact, serve other people with my gifts while staying home? Because I've got 5 kids and my youngest is 6 months old. Okay, I can either start a business with the 6-month-old or I can wait till she's, graduating high school, like another 17 years. Which would I rather? I think I would rather start a business now.
Yeah, that's amazing. So then what drew you to this type of business? Did you feel like, okay, I'm doing all of these things and I feel like I'm managing it well, so I think I could teach other people? Is that what it was?
Kind of, they always tell you in the beginning, you need to do something that you could help other people with. And productivity, decluttering, all these other things were second nature to me. And eventually it became clear it's like there's plenty of people in the minimalism space. What you don't hear of is maybe time management that's gracious and life giving to moms. Like there's plenty of the bro 5 a.m. hustle productivity tips, but that isn't the way that I lived my life. Like I would look around at other moms around me and see the only thing they tell you is, I'm busy. I'm busy. I'm busy. I'm busy. I'm busy. You'll be better when they're in school. Oh, oops, sports practices, And I'm sitting there. I keep having another kid, another, and another. And I'm going, well, I still have 2 hours of free time a day. This isn't hard. I have margin. I have another kid. I'm homeschooling them, for goodness sakes. And I don't see why anyone else has to live in this super stressed, frazzled, rush, pressured life if I can do it with 5, because you don't even need to have 5 kids to, learn the time management secrets. You can do it with 1 or 2. So I wanted to empower other women, because when you shift the time piece and you show up more fully, you enjoy your life, you're not just trying to get through, white knuckling it till your kids are old enough that they're not a burden on you, like everything opens up.
Yeah, that's so true. So what is the most common thing people come to you with as their problem?
That kind of not enough time. Like they've scaled far enough in the business that they are running out of time to go to the next money level, or they've run into the, I really hate all this back end stuff, but I'm still feeling like, well, if I hire a VA, then I get less money. This isn't going to be worth it. I've even run into the people who have like the one-to-one model and they really, really, really want to get out of it and do a one-to-many, but they are so booked up, they can't even carve out the time to switch.
Yeah.
And then they call me like, okay, help. My 5-year plan does not include doing this anymore, but I do not understand where to cut. Like everything is important.
What do you think are the main things that you should outsource?
Definitely anything you don't enjoy or add money in the business. So I mean, for some of us, that means anything to do with your WordPress site. That this was being like, yes, please give me all the tech.
Yeah.
And like graphics, are you good at graphics? Does it take you 10 hours in Canva and then you're good at it? You should outsource that. What about all the stuff we know, the uploading? What about your client onboarding? Just all these small things in the business, but it actually adds up. Like, have you ever tracked how long in your day you spend on that? And what if you could do the same thing on the house and mom side of your life and outsource all those no, you do not need a college degree level tasks? What can your kids do? What can you pay someone to do for you? Think how much mental load that's going to free up.
So what's your model at home then for, because we're about to head into summer, right? It's gonna get crazy. All the kids are out of school, so everyone becomes a homeschool parent essentially for the summer. Um, and the big thing for kids is like, I'm bored, I'm bored, I'm bored. So there's this expectation from parents to like provide all these activities for kids, take them to camps, do all the stuff. So what would be your best advice like going into that season on how to manage work, kids? Like what practical tips do you have for people to be able to navigate that next, change?
First question is, as the mother, as the CEO, do you actually want to pull back on your business hours, spend more time with the kids over the summer? Or would you rather keep to the work schedule that you had that worked so well during the school year and just handle the kid stuff on the side? Because that's going to give, two different sets of advice. So
Let's
obviously,
say workload consistent, right? That someone can't scale back. Maybe their workload isn't something where they can pull back and scale back. So what would you advise there?
obviously, you first need to remind the kids just because you're on school break does not mean that mommy is on break. And then, assuming, I mean, if they're school age, so they're old enough, they have plenty of things they can do around the house. Like if you have not yet got them into chores, this is the perfect time to start giving them a chore list they have to go through during the day before you let them do the screen time or whatever it is you're going to do. And to say, look, we have bookshelves, we have game closets, we have backyards. Go do something. It cannot be loud because mommy's working, and no dumping glitter, or you will get to use your newly found chore skills and vacuum it all up yourself.
The glitter, the bane of every parent's existence, right? Like why? Um, okay, that's great. So just like establishing, I think coming up with a plan prior is also huge, and that chore chart and having the conversation and communicating with them like, look, this is the way the summer is going. Like this is what you're gonna have to do before you earn X, Y, and Z reward. And then just holding them accountable to achieving that. And I think over time it gets easier because I'll get used to just waking up and starting to do it versus like trying to pull teeth to get them to be productive.
Yeah. Hey, go make a new recipe. You're tired of what mom said you can have for lunch? Well, you can go cook something.
And clean it up. Yeah. Um, okay, great. And then why so obviously school breaks are great for kids. It gives them their brain a break. I know you mentioned in some of the stuff that you talk about is like why breaks are essential for your sanity in general as a parent or as a working person. So can you go into that a little bit?
Yeah, the brain science actually says that about after 90 minutes, and that's like the upper cap, it could be as low as 60, your brain feels like it's had a wrap on that particular project and needs a break from the deep work you've been doing. So if you keep trying to push, push, push and slap a whole bunch of 90-minute blocks together, you're going to bring yourself out. And that's when you feel like you're not performing well, you're not checking things off, you don't understand, like, I flew through this yesterday and I came back to complete it and it's not working. Yes, and you tacked it on after, you already had a couple of those work blocks. So this is where it's really great, especially if you're a work from home parent, to say, 90 minutes or up, 80 minutes, whenever it is you felt like you came to that completion point. I will now get up and check on the kids, move the laundry, make myself a snack, get another cup of coffee, do something else that you need to do in your day. But this way, you're not letting it derail your checklist. You're feeding it as the break because once your brain has had that 5, 10, 20-minute break, it's like, okay, I can settle in again for another hour and a half. This is fine. And you go back to that work time block.
That's really smart. I don't think I've ever heard that 90-minute block, but that does make a lot of sense because I think if you just power through it, then you hit that wall at 2 o'clock and you're like, oh,
Mhm.
how can I even?
I'm done. I can't handle, I can't think, can't function.
I just want to lay down. Yeah. So my next thing is I know you talk a lot about mom guilt. So how do you handle this? Working moms face this daily because there just is a certain level of need from the kids for their mom, but also moms need a minute too. So like how do you tackle this? I mean, you've got 5 kids, so I'm sure you feel this too. And how do you cope with it or have you come up with some type of way to avoid feeling like that?
My favorite hack for this is the scheduling. If you schedule in work time when the kids aren't interrupting you, and you schedule in time with the kids, and you don't let work interrupt you, and you schedule time for yourself, and neither are allowed to interrupt you, like, then you know it's all fitting. And just because your kids tried to knock on the door, say in the middle of that 90-minute work clock, and say, "Hey, mommy, come play a game of trouble with me," and you said, "No, not right now," you don't need to let the mom guilt kick in because the second half of the sentence is, "I will when I come out for lunch break." And then later on, it may be, "Oh, I feel like I'm getting close to that low energy burnout time. Oh, yes, that's right. Look at your watch, look at your calendar. I was scheduled to go take 45 minutes off or an hour and a half off right here in 15 minutes. Great. Then I'm not going to burn out."
Okay, so then one of the things is that you wrote was all the house chores you shouldn't be doing. Can you expand on that? What are you talking about?
Anything your school age kids can do, by definition, you shouldn't be doing anymore. So, how about laundry? How about basic veggie prepping for you? Maybe could teach some of the older ones to handle the raw meat if you want to chop for your stir fry. What about the bathroom cleaning, the toilet scrubbing, vacuuming your floors, mopping, things like that? Why can't they do it for you so you don't feel like you need to spend all Saturday running them to birthday parties, sports games, and cleaning the house? Going, and they have such a fun life, and I'm sitting here being the maid for everyone.
Is there a conversation that you have with them? Because I've tried this with my children and said, hey, this is something you can help with. And if you can do it yourself, you should do it yourself, right? Like if you can do it, you should do it. Um, and I still find myself doing all the things. So I've got to be doing something wrong. So is it the conversation that you have with them prior, or like how do you get them to motivate to like actually get it done, or do you just say I'm not doing it? If you want it done, you got to do it yourself.
Actually, a third way.
Okay.
I'm the mom. This is the new house rule. Tough luck. So, like with my kids, they grew up doing some chores, but I increased their chore load once I became an entrepreneur because, I needed 5 hours a day for the business that had to come from somewhere, not just my own personal free time. So, for that, yes, I feel like kids and chores like motivation. People always want to ask about motivation, but that's not actually what's going to happen. Do they Will they ever want to do chores? Probably not, unless you have someone who just loves to cook and you ask them to, make cookies for you or something. But think of it on the other end. Imagine a 17-year-old girl who has never done anything, and you suddenly hit her with, "Please learn how to scrub nasty toilets and tubs and cook meals and clean up after them and package up the leftovers. Oh, and do your laundry, do other people's laundry, do all of this, and I expect no complaining and I expect it done." Do you think your 17-year-old will have a very good attitude with that? Do you think she will go to college knowing how to do any of that stuff? No. Now think about a 17-year-old boy doing all that. In a way, his reaction is like really big. So you can see why we have to back this way up. Like, do this before the teenage years. Stop waiting on, oh, they might not be big enough or strong enough yet, and get them used to it while they're still in grade school before they super push back on you. And you have to rely on too much heavy handed while I'm the parent. And if you wish to live in this house, you have to contribute.
Yeah. That never work. That doesn't always, yeah. That doesn't create a great environment. Um, I love that. I think that that's so true. You're just like, this is what's happening. This is the new rule, and this is how we're gonna operate from now on. And you just stand firm in that, and you don't kind of waffle back and forth. And
That's like delegating. It's just the house side, not the business.
yeah.
You would feel kind of foolish keeping all those VA tasks on your plate, right? So why are you doing the essential, the version of the housekeeper VA?
hmm Yeah, absolutely. Any other tips you can offer people who might be in a position where they're feeling overwhelmed, or, that's the first question. Any basic tips? And then the second is how can people find you if they're like, I need more help with this?
The first go to for everything when you're overwhelmed is to say, what am I resenting? Those are the spots you need to fix first. Not, well, I should be more productive. I should be cleaning my house better. No, no. What annoys you about your working mom day? Fix those things, and you're going to be way happier and have a way better mental health, to show up for everything. And that will produce some needed change in the family if you're like, okay, I feel really angry that no one helps me clean up after dinner. It's not that you need to get more productive with your evening kitchen cleanup routine. You need to get someone to help you with that.
That's a really good point. Yes. Yeah, I think that's a good way to frame it too, is what are you resenting? Like at the end of the night, when you lay your head on your pillow, what's frustrating you about what happened that day in the household or in work or whatever, and then see what you can either delegate or partner with someone in your household to figure out. That's a new way to frame it. I really like that.
Yeah.
And then how can somebody who might be really struggling with maybe more specific things that I'm not covering on this podcast, get in contact with you? And what does your service look like? So if somebody signs up and says, "Hey, I need help with this," what could they expect?
This is a done for you getting your time back service. So you'll have a fairly extensive questionnaire to fill out. And from there, I pretty much handle it for you. Here's going to be your list if you want to cycle sync to your period. These are the tasks you should be doing when for your business and your home. Here's the delegation list for your business and your house. So wherever you've been holding on to stuff that someone else should be doing for you, like boom, 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 here's for give this to your VA, give this to your OBM, consider hiring a housekeeper, or oops, here's the chore list for the kids, you know. Here's your daily CEO schedule that's aligned to your energy needs in your family season. Same for the weekly schedule, because you need to know where everything fits in the week. We can't get to every single role in the day, right? Those are the kind of things that happen with my Take Your Time Back VIP service because it's the done for you. So I want it to make it as easy as possible for you to say, here's the details of my life, go fix it for me. I'll go work up those assets and then I can go over on a call with you. We can make all the tweaks and fine tuning you want. And I'm not going to leave you hanging there. We'll have like 30 days of support. We can ask questions, tweak and fine tune, and even an additional mindset session. If you're like, 2 hours of self care time in the day, I can't possibly take this much. Oh, you can't possibly take this much. Why? Do we need to work through some worthiness stuff? Or what will my kids think of me if I'm sitting down in the middle of the day things? Stuff like that. So you are fully in your next level and you could show up for that dream CEO schedule that we just designed. And then for where to find me, yourinbusylife.com. And then if you're also a podcast listener, you love more podcasts, search the I'm Busy Mom. I have a new episode every Tuesday and Thursday. And since we're working moms and I know we're busy, then they're under 10 minutes a piece.
I love that. That's awesome. Really good practical tips. And my last question that just popped into my head is, how do you coach on like unexpected challenges? Because we know that like life is unpredictable, and there's a lot of things that can derail a schedule in a day, even a flat tire or a sick kid or any of that stuff. So what type of tools do you give people to kind of think about that?
First thing is if you're my client, I'm going to have built it in your schedule already. Margin time. You cannot have your day scheduled so tightly that something like that is just going to totally derail everything. And failing that, you need a bigger weekly time block where you can say, if I need to take the van in for a tire change, it's going to suck up a few hours of the day. This is where it would fit. That would have been a random extra free time, not my daily self-care time. Well, look, it's getting used on this week. So if you always have room for the unexpected to pop up, it's even like listed in your schedule and in your planner as pop up or put out fires. You're not worried, right? If you
Sure.
can't get to every single one today, you know you've got that same time block tomorrow. You'll just start on yesterday's fire. It's okay.
That's awesome. I think this could help a lot of people. So thank you, Alyssa. This is incredible information and something that I think is so needed in the world of working moms and juggling it all and all the things. So I really appreciate it. And I hope a lot of people go to your site and check you out, because that's what we need, is a do it for you. Just fill out the list and say, help me figure this out versus trying to figure it out myself. So what a great tool you provided. And thank you so much for being on here.
Thank you.